We try and get the budget all figured out before.
Sorry, we're just waiting for the,
Can I ask Jim a question or?
yeah, and we're just waiting to go live so we can start the meeting.
Over by the 8th green there across from the condos and stuff. There is a drainage tank there, but I was gonna put a small stone wall opposite that. You don't have it beyond the property. It's bounded on both corners. But it will just be going in. And it's, it's mostly for us to get, one is have it look like there's some more definition there. We put a new sand trap, that was part of the deal. So it's more for aesthetics, huh?
Sand trap?
Yeah, that's already in,
It's been there
But,
for years and
you know,
nobody ever noticed.
but just for, it's more for looks, but it will be on the edge of the property, edge of the road layout, but it won't impact you. There is a tank there that I don't know what goes into it. It's kind of a
There's a-
weird spot,
Yeah,
and we're gonna stay off of it.
off of it.
I don't know where it came from or what's it doing.
There's drop it, the drop inlets along there. And then there's drop inlets up, going up Boulder Path, and there's long runs of culvert.
There are pipes on, right there, they're connected.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, we've returned out of non-public. So let us begin the public part of the meeting. Craig, thank you for coming. You had sent an email out to the town manager with several questions that you wanted the board to address. And we thought it'd be useful will be useful to discuss them with you rather than just giving you an answer via email. So the first one had to do with on-street parking this coming winter tubing season, basically. And and as you know, our paving project, I think as you anticipated, I think you said once, has been delayed until next year. So we are again going to extend the parking across from on Valley Road, across from the clubhouse, but also extend the length of parking along the road. So Chief Payer, would you want to just explain?
So this is where it ends now. We're gonna extend it towards the stop sign here.
Yeah, like 50
So-
feet from the stop sign. That's the wrong side. Luke.
Huh?
What's the wrong side?
It's the wrong side. Oh, I'm sorry.
Talking about
Yeah,
towards
sorry.
village.
It's another picture. Got it.
So right here,
Yeah.
so we're gonna go closer to the stop sign because we only have to be 20 feet.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go closer and we're gonna go around the corner. So it's gonna add, we actually did the footage, it's 382 feet, so it's about 19 cars, roughly 8 foot a car.
Thank you.
So it's gonna give you 19.
We don't have to
spots.
put any process down, ledge block or anything, right?
No.
No, you just extend the signs out further.
The
Thank you.
signs are gonna-
All right,
So you get probably 9 more cars over there.
So it'll be 19.
We think 19 and all roughly for the distance.
And so one of the other things we discussed was what options are we going to have once we return to the paving project next spring? And I think what we like to commit to here is that to make a good faith effort to find a solution, to try to make that perhaps a permanent spot. But again, it depends, we have to look at what's there with regard to pedestrian and bicycle access as well. Bob or Margaret, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I
anything you'd like to say?
think we'd like to make the 19 spaces permanent. But we gotta see the paving and what we do with the bike path or eliminate the bike path or whatever we do there and we just don't know the answer to that.
it might be complicated, but the times we need the parking are probably not the times that people are using the bike path. Like during the day or something. I'm just talking aloud and thinking
Yeah,
aloud.
and the thing is, we just did our signage to get this path to be used more by pedestrians and bikes.
Right,
And so we don't, we're gonna have to look at it. How do you do the parking in this area while you're encouraging people to come
Yeah.
and use this section
I get
of
it.
path?
Maybe what we can do after they pave it.
Mhm.
Before they line it, look at it.
Mhm. No, that's exactly what we're saying.
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, we could even put a crosswalk, so
You, well,
You
but
move
we
the
just
spots
don't
up
have
and
the
it
answers
pops up.
now as to how to make
So,
that
Let the
work.
paving go,
Right.
what's under contract, I guess,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is.
But don't do the lining part of it.
Yeah.
And just see what's,
So there'll be a period of time when we're paving, where you lose those spaces, because we're
Yeah.
doing the paving.
Right.
But our intention is, a good faith effort is to try to figure out how to keep those. there.
right, and again, just to let, we all know, it's a lot of the times that we. Need the parking, it's not really a big bike time, you know, like after 4 o'clock or something like that. Or on Saturday afternoons, it's not, it's when we have double events or when people are playing golf. And we have a rehearsal at the same time, so thus there's different people using the property differently, more cars. There's a lot of golfers that don't use the clubhouse, that just play golf, but they need to park. There are the wedding rehearsals, we do get most of them to try to walk over, and which we're very successful with that in the summertime. But their grandma and grandpa don't want to walk. And so, but they don't come till 5:30.
Hmm.
Which is not really a big bike time. In general, I'm not saying there's never a
Yeah.
bike, but it's not a big bike time, big bike times are during the day. From 10 to 3 or whatever. So maybe, I don't know, I'm just talking aloud.
I also think, Craig, because I think I park over in your maintenance lot on the nights when I know
You're all
you're having
alone.
an event. And I think if the other people in the scramble were encouraged to do that, that would help you out.
I
as
have
well.
asked them when,
Yeah.
and they've never said no,
Hmm.
so, but I have to physically go up there and ask.
Yeah.
And sometimes. I'm doing something else that's more important, or, something else that I have to do
Hmm.
versus. Run the parking lot per se, as I try to catch them,
Right.
and I have gone out there. And asked them if they could, tonight, can you move across the street or down the
Right.
street?
Right.
But that's what it entails.
Okay.
You're more aware of the parking than anybody, so you're doing it. But. It's hard,
Hmm.
it's just hard.
Hmm.
I did meet with, Jim Sununu this morning. He didn't seem to be too. Amenable to anything, which is fine. He's got his own little world over there and. Not really worried about my world. But I have reached out to the neighboring properties, or, because it is in the master plan, they talked about a parking lot.
Mhm.
But I don't know if we'll live long enough. We are gonna, I'm probably gonna make application to the planning board at some time next winter. On some improvements to the garage area. We've already spent 15 grand on paving. I'll probably spend another 15 grand on paving down there to make that bigger. I'm probably gonna clean it up as far as landscape and take some of the scrubby stuff out of there. It has to be visible. If we use those parking lots down there, people are gonna need to see it and feel comfortable parking there. So it's gotta get changed around a little bit. I'm probably gonna do some work to the garage itself, and until I get to the planning board or make application to site plan review. I just assumed it's just ideas right at the moment,
Mhm.
but I think Dave Noyes had the idea about putting the tubing down there in the wintertime, eventually down that garage. That would be, I think it would be probably not a bad idea in the wintertime. It'd probably be a good idea, actually. We could change things around and run the check-in for tubing out of that building, that garage. It would entail me to probably construct another smaller garage, but I would have to do that. So
would you need parking on Boulder Path?
I think it would be, when you
If
do make
You got
it,
the 19 spots we're talking about.
well, if you put, I don't know, that's like, I would have to say to you, let's wait for. On Boulder Path until when is it being designed, I guess.
Well,
No.
we're actually asking, we're gonna potentially ask for the engineering money
Yeah,
next year, or at March town meeting. So
I'd like to give you a better answer on that in a year from today.
But what about this winter, the way it is now?
No, I don't need anything on Boulder.
Okay.
Just the 19
just the
roughly.
19
Right.
across.
And I'm thinking we could shrink the 19 down if we move the tubing down in the winter time, and then I think there should be some parking on Boulder. In general, because there's a lot of people taking pictures. I mean, every day somebody goes by and takes a picture.
Mhm.
A couple of people take pictures almost every single day there. So it'd be nice if they had a small spot or a spot to pull off.
Maybe when we design that, there could be a small turnoff. or
Yeah,
something.
and I want to move the gazebo that's on Sixth there. I want to move it out toward the road. And maybe incorporate that with a little.
I've hit it enough. I'm not sure it hasn't fallen. It
You know.
hasn't fallen down yet.
No, but I do, it's in a bad spot where nobody can really use it, and. I think, I've been looking at it, I think we can actually move it, at least the roof part of it, in the base part, I think we can reconstruct it.
Move that out towards Boulder Path. Road.
Yes.
And maybe make the turnout, make the turnout.
Part of that,
Where the
yeah,
gazebo goes.
and I'd be willing to move the gazebo. And give any easements that were necessary for that, to move it over there. If we talk to, I would like to talk to whoever's designed it just briefly, or at least walk them with it, because. There are some spots a little better than others that won't get hit.
Mhm.
There's a spot between. Where we drive into the tubing area
The
and
service road, yeah.
That's
seventh,
service road.
in the seventh green is not a place that any balls are gonna get hit, so that would be a good spot for it. So, yes, and then. You know, if we move the tubing down there, I think we would have more than adequate parking, on both, And probably not necessarily need. As much parking or hardly any parking on Valley Road.
Hmm.
That's, and that, I'm just thinking, I'm not,
Right.
Right.
Well, that gets to
That's
our
all.
idea of thinking through what to do with Valley, in terms of its permanence and the paving. and
I
all
think
of
you're
that.
gonna see,
depending on your
if
plans.
something happens at Town Square area, we're gonna need more parking anyway, somewhere or somebody.
Mhm.
I don't know, and who do we know, how do we know? So I think it'd be nice to have the plans if we don't use it, it's not hurting anybody.
If I can just shift the parking discussion a bit. Where do you stand now on parking on your property on Snows Mountain Road?
I'm gonna do that privately between me and Tom.
Okay,
I'm gonna, and he needs to apply for a permit or whether he has one or not for on-street parking. And I'll give him an agreement to park there. That will be between him and me. On my, whatever is my property. And I'll probably clean that up over there too and define it a little bit more. I'll probably slightly fence it in a little bit and put some ledge rock in there to kind of clean it up and make it more defined. But I think that would be better between him and I. He needs it. We don't even. At some point, some of it is on your the town property, some's on mine.
right.
I don't know if we wanna, I think until the road gets done or laid out or whatever. I don't think we need to argue about where it all is. I think right now I can do a 1-year renewable every year agreement with him privately.
Okay. No, we just want to facilitate and we'd like to
Yeah.
regularize that.
But I would
because-
say to him, I've talked to him privately, personally, and he
Yeah.
obviously wants the parking. I'm not. I'm just gonna talk to him. about
Okay,
it.
well,
And
just
I
let
would
us
like to do
know.
that privately. If I can't do it privately with him, or I'm
Right.
offering it to him, and if it doesn't work out, I'll let you know.
Okay,
How's that?
no, that's fine. If there's
Yeah.
anything you think we could help with to make it happen.
No, but I do wanna. Finalize it, make it legal or.
Yeah, that's
That's
our
what
interest.
we want.
And I
That's
do
what-
want to define the spots. There were a couple of tennis things going on where it was just like everybody else. There were people everywhere.
From my own standpoint, I'd rather have you do it personally with him than
Yeah,
keep the town out of
I
it.
think I can. So,
Except there's some town land.
There's town land involved, so we've got.
Well, but,
Yeah.
but I think all the town land that's involved with this is really your granting the on-street parking.
Right.
It's just like.
he would need a
Valley
permit
Road.
for
He would need a vote by the
Mhm.
board to do it.
Mhm.
Right.
Once you do that, the town land is taken
Right.
care of.
Okay,
I mean, we could do it now if you wanted parallel parking
Yeah, if he wanted parallel.
and you get 9
parking,
cars instead of
Yeah.
15
Well,
cars.
before I talk to him, what should I be saying about, because I'm just gonna make it the way it is now.
No, no, we prefer it. We prefer it.
the way it is now.
All right,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we'd rather have more car
so I'm
parking.
gonna do it the way it is now, just kind of square it up to the asphalt a little bit more and put some.
That's fine.
small,
Yeah.
low fencing in.
Because we are looking at potentially Snows Mountain Road,
As part of.
the next,
part of
the next
engineering.
project going up. So the money we may be requesting at this coming March meeting will include Boulder Path and up Snows Mountain Road as well
For engineering.
for engineering.
Don't forget to engineer the sewer, so.
Yeah.
It may be able to make it up to your
Or
place.
comic to Bob's for laundry.
I will recuse myself from that discussion.
And just if we do agreement, I will leave it a little bit open for, because the town owns a gazebo. And if we ever do anything or anybody does anything at the gazebo, we could use that parking that we're gonna create for any use of the gazebo.
He's talking about the
Gazebo.
gazebo that's.
Oh, yeah, you mean
On the sixth
for you to have a
yes,
function there or
okay.
something
I
like
thought it
that?
was a Snows Mountain.
No, no,
Okay.
yes, the Snows Mountain.
Yeah, yeah,
He's saying
The one on
public
Snows
access.
Mountain.
Public
one where
access.
she-
yeah, the one they gladed out.
He's saying public access to that parking.
Oh, I see, maybe they'll be able to walk there, I see.
I just want to I'll throw one line in, there's nobody doing anything today, but if anybody decided to. It's the town property and the town should probably open it up to more people. For whatever you do, it's kind of a wasted, it's a cool little gazebo and it's
Yeah.
a cool little lot. It does not have any parking and you certainly don't want to park next to it. So I will, if I do an agreement, which I will do an agreement with Tom, I will put a little caveat about shared parking with the gazebo.
All right,
Okay.
that was the
Those were the two big things.
big parking thing was,
Shuttle.
The shuttle,
Bus.
oh, right. So on the shuttle bus, we did go to the shuttle bus operator. And I guess we got the sign installed, no problem, right? There's one right there in Lost Pass Road now. I think it's labeled Moose Run, but I'm not
And that's,
mistaken.
we would like to see that change.
Change to the,
Anything but Moose Run.
okay,
I mean, Moose Run doesn't show up on GPS. So we'd like to see it. Clubhouse, golf course, tubing, I don't care what. Anything
now on
but
their
Moose Run.
website, it is referred to as the golf clubhouse. The sign needs to.
the sign needs to be changed still.
Changed
Right.
Just
to
like-
match it.
Yes.
All right, so we can
And it doesn't
re-engage
have
them
to-
on that.
Doesn't have to happen immediately.
Right. No, because they did change it, our request for the website, but they just haven't changed the sign, is what I'm hearing.
I did go to the resort association meeting because they're subsidizing it a little bit too.
25%.
Right. They. First time I went and talked to them about it, they thought it was a private matter, and the second time I've gone and talked to them, it was more of a. Public matter, I guess, and they were gonna see what they can do.
We've said that we think it ought to go till 6 o'clock as you requested.
Right,
Saturday nights.
right,
Right,
We've
Yeah.
said that it's up to the mountain to respond.
right. When I say 6 o'clock, that means like. What is how it runs today, I think you already know, maybe.
Hmm.
Yeah, they don't pick anybody up at the valley after 4:30 or a little after 4, actually, and then the buses make their run and then they 20 minutes and then they hit the mountain. They wait till 5 o'clock at the mountain and then whoever gets on the bus at 5 o'clock, they drop them off and that's it, they're done. So they really were not getting any service after 4 o'clock, actually. And all I'm saying is I'd like to get service before they drive up to the mountain. And also when they get done dropping that 5 o'clock runoff at the bottom, that they make another loop around the valley. That's about, and
So I think we've told them we're agreeable
Yeah.
to that.
right.
Mhm.
I have talked to their people and it sounded like if I paid for it, I could do it. And I just think I don't know, I just would like to know how much we all have to pay for this bus,
I think they just increased the budget by
Yeah,
what, $2,000 that's gonna take to do it all winter and it gets
Yeah.
split up 25, 50%. I
yeah,
think.
all right.
I mean, that's the agreement. Well, we don't have an agreement with
We
them
don't
right now.
have an agreement with them.
We're
right now
still-
Because
We
they
don't,
never came back to us.
Right.
We're paying them last year's agreement amount. So
So
We're waiting for more
We're
specific
waiting
numbers.
for.
We're on your side.
Yeah, or there's no size, but
Yeah.
at least my email was just find out what was going on.
Right.
That's
Right.
all.
So we are,
Right.
we're talking.
Yeah, and the same thing, like I say, I went to the resort thing. Seems like I got a little bit more sympathy going on with them. I mean, I said, it's your guess. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not. They're, we'd like to bring the hockey people over on a bus versus driving over. If we can,
That makes perfect sense.
right? And 6 o'clock is pretty much a good time for us to get everybody out, or that's the heavier time periods.
Mhm.
Anything after that, we are open till 8, 9 o'clock, but it's not that busy.
Hmm.
All right,
All right.
Anything else, Lawyer?
The third issue was asking the police to go in and.
Right.
And
That's
before
correct.
they ticket,
Yeah.
and
I think the 19 spots is gonna alleviate
we
a
think,
lot of
that-
it,
yeah,
to be honest.
we think that's a problem. for
Yeah,
the
the-
police to have to go.
there are a couple of tickets that happen where they're up further up Moose Run. And to be honest, we can't see unless we walk way out in the park. I can't see up there. We can't see from the clubhouse. Anybody parked up there. So I think the last person that did parked and got ticketed was up that area.
No, the last two we got were they're parking right in front of the stop sign.
All right, we can see that pretty,
Yeah,
and we
those-
have gone out and grabbed some people
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, So we don't feel comfortable committing to having the police come in every time they.
No, if they have, all I said was if they had time, that's all. Obviously you don't wanna. Take up their time, and you don't wanna do it every, 6 times a day either.
Yeah.
But if it's once a weekend, I think that would be fine. If it's way more than that, then. They don't have, I think they just have to use the discretion.
With regard to Lost Pass Road, I believe we've discussed this before, but is it not, it's not feasible because of plowing to move the no parking sign or put a no parking sign on the downward
coming
sign,
downhill?
coming downhill, because that's the side they
There's a
park.
hydrant right there. I mean,
Yeah.
they're parking next to a hydrant.
I was gonna say,
sometimes.
they're right,
Anyway.
there's no room from a stop sign to his entrance, then there's
Right.
the
No, I don't-
hydrant, then.
I don't think the signage would stop any of these people.
I agree.
Okay,
I
Well,
wholeheartedly
I
agree.
wonder if we could have a 1 sheet or a 1/2 sheet page that says, here are the designated parking areas for if you're at the golf club, so that when people check in, they get that piece of paper.
Well, no, I believe this, except for last winter, what tickets were written this summer were all residents.
Yeah, so they know there's no parking in town. so
Yeah, they
it's-
were literally all residents.
Yeah.
So, or siblings or kids of residents or whatever. They weren't tourists.
Hmm.
So they weren't a one-shot deal,
Okay,
at least this summer. In the winter time, you get the hockey people, they'll just park anywhere, they don't care.
I think going into the winter season, we can do a reminder on our social media, on
Sure,
the
absolutely.
website or whatever.
We're gonna get a message to the
and
hockey
get a-
academy.
Get a message to the hockey academy and just remind them. I think it's a good idea to remind people where to park.
there's one
There's
on-street
one
parking.
on-street parking
parking section.
section on.
But let's
Valley
not
Road.
be remiss on the fact that they're in the parking lot where the ice arena is, and they are
Right.
still not, they're illegally
Right.
parking through there too,
Right.
so.
What we're
I
gonna
have
try to
to
do, I
take this
think we're gonna talk to the, if we get the shuttle to 6 o'clock, we were gonna. Ask them to put we'll pay to put some signage on their buses.
Mhm.
So it's saying that they could use, and maybe the drivers know enough to pick up at the rink. Which they do now anyway, they're standing right there.
Mhm.
So, on the hockey parties, we do a fair amount of hockey parties. That's really where the problem is sometimes. We talk to them ahead of time. Last year, we tried to get them to use the shuttle, which we were able to do. We just ran into some problems with the drivers in the timing.
Hmm.
The drivers felt no big deal, as that they were overwhelmed and they were understaffed and they just wanted to drive to the mountain and back.
Mhm.
No, not blaming them. I mean, we tried bribing them with food and stuff,
Yeah,
but they
it
would
is
get
a-
us over there, but then we couldn't get them back. We couldn't get the parties back.
It is a municipal service.
Yeah.
Right, but nobody knows that but you and I.
Yeah.
even Patrick didn't know about it. Literally until I told him last winter that, so that's not well known that it is. Even amongst.
No, you're right.
The
That they're
drivers.
supposed to be driving
A
around,
regular
picking
route,
up people and
right,
dropping
at a time
people
route.
off on a timed
Right.
route.
And maybe
Yeah.
it's a time to. Start thinking about a more of a transit authority type thing anyway.
The town went down that road
Things have changed though.
10, 15 years.
I know, but
ago,
there's a
and
lot of things that are different.
It was hammered by legal reality.
Well,
Is that
but
a
I
fair
think
way
we
to
could
put it?
be-
You
I
can at least,
think we could be different. I-
Well, like, it's something
We
that,
gotta
yes,
look
we have to look into it.
I think things are different. There's over, on a busy weekend here, there are close to 4,000 people in this valley. All within a 400-acre area. I think you could justify to the transportation, a whole grant system or whatever. I mean, most towns have some kind of public transportation that they get paid federally.
And we have to look at it. We actually established our own transit authority, right?
Yes,
And was one of only 2 towns in the state of us and, what was the other town? Was it Nashua or Manchester that had their
well, I
own
think there were
transit,
3 or 4,
3 or 4?
but there were.
And there were-
It's the only rural town I was.
Yes.
Yeah, and it didn't work because of legal complexities
It-
and paperwork issues.
That's right. That was, but again, we were 250 to 350 people.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with,
Yeah.
Craig. I mean, it's definitely worth looking at.
And that's somewhat yes, we are doing more business. Yes, we have a better product, let's say, than 2 years ago or 3 years ago. But there are more people, period. But I think. I was just saying to them that even you didn't know that it was semi-public transportation.
Yeah, I did not know that at all. I just assumed it was the mountain because of the bus. I had no idea.
It's a shared system.
It's a shared system.
Yeah.
Right, and maybe we should look into, because they're having, like everybody's, any business, they're having a difficult time doing everything that they're supposed to do.
Anything else from the board?
Unless you
Craig,
got something else.
Craig, you got anything else?
No,
All right,
Back to my one now.
all right, so we'll keep our fingers crossed this winter and maybe that extra
well, that'd be.
9 or 10
Well,
cars.
That's a huge, we have
Yeah.
added 5 or 6 spots
Mhm.
already. We maybe do a few more. The only thing I was gonna ask you is. That pipe, when you do the Valley Road, they're gonna replace the other drainage pipe too?
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
They
Um,
redesigned, that's the other reason why I want to look at the plan, was there was a redesign of the water coming across from the golf clubhouse across Valley Road.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get that open cul-de-sac gone. If we could. Just so we can go right over,
Right,
not around it.
yeah, I know,
And
it's
it's not-
kind of an issue for you.
Yeah, and it's not that safe. The way it is, and I don't think it's necessary to keep it the way it is. All right. Thank you very
Good.
much.
Thank you
All
for
right,
coming.
Craig, thanks for coming in.
Okay, so let's move on to our next topic, which is,
Can I?
oh, yeah,
We had a couple of little parking things. I'd just like to comment on a couple of those.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please.
So one of them was, what you said is a CIP issue, was out this parking for going to the Cascades.
yeah, I think a couple of the proposals
Yeah.
would be
To
more,
me- To me,
yeah,
the drainage over there would be a real problem, I would think, that comes off the Cascade, down off Cascade Ridge.
Yeah, and
And secondly, I would think the BBGS wouldn't have any problem with hikers continuing to park there for the near future.
no, we put it, we included it here because if BBTS comes in and wants to do something which would get rid of their parking area the way it is right now, we need to have some options available. And I agree with you. I think as long as it can stay the way it is right now, it's fine. But I think we need to have this on our radar.
Sure.
yeah, I mean, I just thought, I'm thinking the exact same way. I just thought as part of a CIP, would be a way to have it on the radar.
Yeah, there are
Is
issues
that
with
land,
privacy.
is that land owned by,
It's owned by the town.
Oh, it is.
Yes, that
Right
land
next
at
to
the
the
bottom is,
Cascade.
yes,
Right
right
to the
next to the
cap.
Cascade sign, Cascade Ridge sign.
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
town land.
okay, and then on the cemetery one,
Yeah,
this funeral this past weekend, for the first time ever, I saw head-in parking.
Right.
Which really worked,
Mhm.
instead of people parallel parking.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think maybe we could even put some lines there that encourage or do something to.
Yep.
Maybe a sign that says head-in parking only or something.
Yeah.
Because that really worked and then you got maybe, I don't know, 10 cars there head-in parking.
Yeah.
Whereas normally you
Really,
only
that
get,
many?
you normally get like 3 or 4 there.
Yeah, yeah.
and
Parallel.
I think that was Dave's idea. That maybe talking to that landowner, Don Haas's old house.
Mhm.
And getting, we don't need a whole lot of space, but extending
It really
the
drops off.
cul-de-sac. It
Yeah.
does, but maybe just clearing a little bit and doing lines like you were
Yeah.
saying could get us some additional parking.
Even if you didn't get any additional land from him, it just,
just do the lines.
the head-in parking really worked.
Made a difference.
Yeah, we'd have to
Yeah.
check.
We'll look at it.
Yeah, there's bounds up there.
Yeah.
And we could check with.
Yeah, anyway.
I was thinking on that, why I thought it was a CIP issue, because I think at some point, as we discussed, I think a part of master, I think it might be in our master plan. We have to look at extending the cemetery somehow and purchasing some land up there. And that this parking could be part of a land purchase to increase the size of the cemetery
Yeah.
as well. That's what I was thinking in my head.
Would the Forest Service be amenable at any point to?
No, it's the private, well, there's
It's
the
the private
private
landowner
and landowner
next
will
door.
have to see if there's any interest. I don't know how full we are.
Well, I'm gonna do a percentage because unfortunately.
Right,
Over the last couple of years,
well,
we've added.
we
quite a
may
few-
see that pattern persist
Well, I know.
for a little bit. I've had somebody ask me about
Yeah.
guaranteeing a spot.
Well, if they ask you,
They're okay.
they're okay for the time being.
Yeah, well, they're thinking ahead. And so it's someone I,
Some of us that still have extra spots,
Yeah,
in the
that's
plots that are already there.
that's right,
Some
they've
of them-
already, yeah,
And that's just
Most-
the point, Margaret,
Yeah.
is we
Right.
have committed several. Plots that are not
Mm.
being used right now, but
Right.
that are already committed.
right.
So
So what do we
It's
have?
more than just
Right.
the people that are there.
I think this idea you have, Bob, of perhaps striping it or somehow
Some-
indicating
somehow.
a head on
Yeah.
is a nice solution until we really do address this in the longer
Even if you
term.
didn't stripe it a full length of a car, but you only stripe
Just,
it
just a little bit,
4 feet or something, just.
so people can see the width it's
Yeah.
supposed to park this way.
Yeah.
And then the larger project of a parking area, cul-de-sac and a larger cemetery is part of the CIP
I mean, we gotta plan
ahead.
10, 15
Yeah,
years
that's-
down the road.
That's what struck me about those two. Okay, have we had a fill of parking?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we will move on to the review of the 2022 MS1 report and valuation changes.
Can we do something else? Can
Oh,
we
yeah.
have-
Oh, Brooke, I'm
talk
sorry.
to us first?
Yes,
So here's,
boat venue changes. Uh-oh,
well.
we can share.
you- something to-
No,
there you go. You can each have your one. I made plenty of copies. There you go. That way you can write on. it.
right. Take it home and
Well,
stare
Take
at
it
it.
home and stare at it.
Always, John.
Right.
And
Okay,
unfortunately, on the map, I forgot to, if you want to just circle this area here. Right here.
you mean the cove?
Yeah, the cove, this cove.
Yeah, well, my pen doesn't work on it.
And then
All right,
I didn't print out copies of this, but these are three pictures of the same building.
will it have bathrooms?
well, that's gonna be the issue, isn't
That would
it?
be the question, right?
Yeah,
Well, if you look at, first of all, our current problems are that, we have this gazebo that's 5 feet, 5, inches tall when you walk into it. And so everyone's hitting their head. So we have an existing problem.
Mhm.
It's, not waterproof, all the things that you know about.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, and
just
we have-
in general disrepair. I mean,
Town approved
Yes,
$15,000 to
right.
contribute to the repair
Right,
on the resort schedule. which
Exactly.
Is no schedule.
so that's kind of what's happening is they originally were gonna do it in April. Then they were put it off until September, and now they're telling us that they have to look at they have to do it next year in April. Which, is their hopeful date, so that it's the earliest would be next April.
So delayed a year, basically.
Right. So with that news, with the problem of the wastewater treatment facility project going in, we no longer have winter storage for our boats, which is not something I was thinking about.
The transfer station,
Mhm.
the move of the transfer station.
That's where we store the boats,
That's, well, it's
Up
up
in
in
the
those containers.
containers
or
up there.
Right.
Whatever.
They're gonna.
They're gonna be moved
repurposed.
or be repurposed.
Okay,
So that has come to light for me. So now we have this $15,000 and this need for winter boat storage for, number of boats. So we thought that maybe a shed, a nice looking shed on the beach would be a good spot to run our waterfront operations out of and store our boats both in the summer and in the winter. So we would no longer have the need for the racks, the boat racks that we
Mhm.
have. Those would be removed and we would move everything over to the beach side. The dock would go off of that cove area. And then the shed itself is on your map, that red rectangle. I wanted to show the scale, just so you could see that it's not giant on the beach, and it would be against the idea is to have it against that wooded lot there,
which the town owns.
which the
And-
town owns.
And in the cove, we would take the floating part of the dock that we remove every year and put back. We would put that over here, and that would become where the boats would go
Sail
out
route,
of.
right.
That's gonna take all the fun out of it for my guy.
I know. Well, no, they're still gonna have
It's
to
a
put
fun
it,
day.
they're still gonna have
It's
to
not
take it
gonna-
out and put it in,
But we're not
so,
sailing across the. pond.
right, exactly. So,
So you need to build a dock as well.
no, we're gonna use,
The,
You
okay,
take the existing
the
dock.
floating dock that we have, that we put out, that Jim's team puts out in the spring and then takes out in October, that piece can actually go over
Mm.
here. And so I think what would happen is we'd have to put 2 posts in and attach the dock to 2 posts on the shore.
How deep is this in here?
We checked it out and the water's pretty low at this point, right, Jim? And
It's fed by
and-
that brook that
And
comes
it
down
has
through
enough
there.
water in there right now. To support that, so I think it's a good indicator that, it would work for
So
season.
so
I
the
think
boat
we're-
racks don't move over.
No, what we
No.
would do is we would actually have this shed, the back end of it would open up. So that we would have our racks in there in a whole storage situation, so the boats would go in there at night.
And what about the paddle boats? They go in there? too?
No, paddle boats stay out around the dock, just like they are now.
Okay.
But the
but
dock
there's-
moved to the cove.
Yes.
So there's enough room for the floating
Sup-
dock and the paddle boat.
Surprisingly,
boats.
yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
So why wouldn't we, even if we don't have the money to put bathrooms in the building now, why wouldn't we? Provision, look at a building that would accommodate later on if we need to. Postpone the cost of the bathrooms, it would be able to accommodate the bathrooms later on.
well, the attraction of this particular shed is it's only about $12,000. So going into building a whole new facility would probably be a lot more expensive. And the composting toilets are, what was the number on there?
with their own building,
No, just the
or
toilets.
just the toilets
Yeah.
was 35,000 per toilet.
Yeah, just for the toilet. Then there's-
And that.
there's a whole
that
system though,
Also
too.
needed, a basement area deep enough for the concrete vault.
It's a much
So
bigger
It
project.
was a much bigger project. We wanted to keep, if we do this, we maybe cut back a few trees, maybe take out a couple, but we can put this in without making any terrain alterations at all. This will just sit up against the trees at the edge of the beach area,
And
so
it's-
sandy area.
So is this a particular shed that, I mean, there's all kinds of sheds.
You can have, yeah, you can have the sheds designed, but this is just an example of what it could look like. Just wanted to give you an idea that it's, you know, a nicer looking shed. It's not, you know, just that we're looking for something that looks aesthetically pleasing and that's functional.
But not heated, no utilities,
No,
nothing,
no,
just
no.
a shed.
No
A storage
It
shed.
would be on blocks.
No electricity.
It would be
It
on
would be on
blocks.
blocks, it can be moved, it's mobile. So if we need to move stuff around, we can. We could always use this as a storage shed. If we built a building on the beach with the bathrooms in it, we can move this out of the way, put it
Mhm.
on Packard's Field and use it as a storage shed up by Packard's Field.
But it is something that
So-
could happen
can
essentially
happen
now. I
right-
mean, there's
right
no
away.
real preparation.
The other issue that we're having is, you know, the resort has told us next April, but they still are trying to figure out moving remember, they're moving the gazebo.
Then
They're
the
switching
gazebo
the
switches,
gazebos
yeah.
with the conference center.
Yeah, that's why I assume what the delay
You know,
was.
Exactly,
Right.
and so we don't know if that's still in the plan, it's just a lot of uncertainty even for next year.
Mhm.
So can we do this with the budget that we already?
Yes.
have?
Yeah.
Yes,
It was approved
Right.
It was.
to
Yeah.
repair the
to
gazebo.
repair the gazebo,
It
but we would repurpose it because it's the purpose that
Right.
we
So we
wanted to
and-
do.
use our own crews so that we're not a.
Right, it's
It-
delivered,
yeah,
it's actually
it gets
delivered
and
and
gets
leveled.
in place.
Modular.
Yeah, but
It's part of the
most
service.
importantly, I think to note is that it's gonna solve a big problem that we have if we don't do anything, which is the winter storage for the
Right.
boats.
We don't own any part of that gazebo, correct?
That's correct.
Right.
We do not own it.
Even where we've been storing the boats,
Right.
that's been thanks to the resort
Yes,
allowing us to
correct.
store,
Yes.
to store our boats there. Okay. And I think we should note that this could impact where the chapel committee is planning to build the chapel,
Yes.
where you're gonna have your boat operation,
Right,
in
the
the
actual
future.
physical boats on the water
right?
would be basically right in front of where that's being proposed. But again, that's all movable. That's not a stationary.
Right.
permanent
Yeah, no, I don't
function.
see it as
It's
a,
mobile thing.
yeah, I don't
and
see it as,
purposely
I'm just saying it for the record,
Yes,
Yeah.
that we
definitely.
recognize
yes.
that's part of the equation
Yeah.
here as well.
Mhm.
And that's the other thing about
Mm.
putting this shed on blocks, it's movable. It, you know.
Have a different plan and
have
you're
a
down the
different
road.
plan.
Okay,
Okay.
so any discussion?
Well, if we're using the same budget that we've already approved, I move we repurpose the amount we've already approved to this project.
Yeah.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I-
I
Great.
assume that we could do that since
We
we're
will
using it
get
for the
this
same,
Done, we'll get it
Yeah.
on order tomorrow.
I mean, it's legally the same as
It's
the
the
warrant
same
article,
purpose. Yeah.
same purpose.
Oh, yeah, I
No.
just talked to them.
In anticipation of.
Well, yeah, I wanted to get all the details before I wrote anything down.
It's gonna be very nice to me.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Good
make,
job,
makes things a lot simpler. I think for both us and for the resort, they don't have to have us
Right,
constantly
think
on them saying, when are you gonna do this? When are you gonna do this?
Yeah.
And what's the switch gonna mean for us?
you're right.
This way, that it's just cleaner for them and cleaner
Yeah.
for us. So I think it's a win-win.
Are we buying one that's already built right now?
Well, we have options to buy one that's already built right now or have one built that's like more specific to our needs.
Sounds like that's what we ought to do.
Yeah.
Did you want to say in the Bob, and
I just leave it to them.
No,
how
I
about
mean,
the color?
Yeah, that is actually, these are questions that do need to be addressed because, you know, I liked.
We
what
wanna
the color
delegate
of the-
that
This is the
authority.
existing shed that's on the lot that could come right away, but there are probably some things that we'd want to change. So I don't know if there is a specific color or that kind of thing, or.
Town
we
calls for
consider-
earth tones, right?
Hmm?
Earth
earth
tones.
tones.
Yeah.
I would just
Greens,
delegate it
browns.
to
green,
you guys.
browns.
to-
Are you okay with that?
Sage,
Yeah,
Yeah, I like sage,
sage,
okay.
beige.
Yeah.
something in along those
Yeah.
lines.
Well, we could make it kind of match the Golden Eagle look with a,
Tan
you know,
and green.
with a
With a
tan with a
tannish.
green roof.
Mhm.
I mean, that would, as looking at it across the water.
Nice.
it
Yeah,
might
no,
be
I'm
better
sure,
that way.
sure.
If they have that
Yeah.
available.
Right.
Okay.
You don't have to bring the books or the color swatch.
No.
Right,
we
but
don't
when
want
I
to
do
do
have an
that.
idea, then I'll communicate that.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
I think that works great. All right,
Good job.
excellent.
Thanks.
All right, so now let's go to the fun task of reviewing the MS1
Well,
report and valuation check. Oh, wait a minute, do we have someone else?
we don't get it. We didn't get it yet, right? The MS1 itself. Do we? I've been looking.
I
for
see.
it.
So all we have is
So we have the
evaluation.
valuations. They're on
Right.
that sheet and I can talk through those. Let me just check.
So we'll have to get
Make sure.
together again. Well, we'll meet in next week anyway. Well, would that be too late? Or do we have to read?
No, what I would like to do is, you haven't had much time with these values yet.
Mhm.
Look through them.
Mm.
I told you in my email, I compared the old valuation to the new valuation. The
Right.
change is 43.4%.
So it's higher than,
Increase.
yeah.
Yeah, so it went up. Yeah,
So does that mean if your valuation didn't go up that much, that your taxes are going down?
yes.
Mhm.
Well,
So 1.43 would be the
1.43 is the cutoff.
rate.
So anyone
this
who's,
is for next year.
so if anyone's at 1.43, 143% of their value last year, their taxes, theoretically, if the budget didn't change, their taxes wouldn't change.
Right,
If they're less than that, their taxes will go down, and if they're more than that, they will go
at
up.
least the town portion of the town, the town.
No, no, no,
portion.
the total,
The total,
total,
the total as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything's proportional,
Right.
right? So,
Oh, okay, you're right. I get you now. Right.
okay, so.
Yeah.
But again, you gotta take into account how much did the school budget. Or the
Could
school
increase or
portion increase or
decrease,
decrease
right.
and all of that, so. I think what I'd like to do for the next selectmen's meeting is I will take last year's tax rate analysis that we did, put the new valuations into it, and show you what it would have been last year if these were the values. Because that way people can start to get an idea.
Last year being
Okay.
2021,
2021,
right? Because the
Yes.
tax bill they're gonna get in December of 2022 is gonna be the first bill based on these
it will.
Yes. Valuations,
These valuations
right?
these valuations go into effect for this year.
Right, the
Okay,
2022.
They're
for
the
the second half.
2022.
So there's gonna be
Yes.
some kind of comparison as to what you've already
Correct.
paid and.
It-
And
Yes.
this goes into effect for the second half.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is as of April 1 of this year.
So the
These
the
numbers.
places that are being built now are not part of this at all?
No, because, well, only what was existing on April 1.
The land basically and some
Well, no,
structure.
some structures were.
Yeah, this is the
partially
new,
built and-
where you have
and they
new-
got yeah, exactly. If it says new,
I saw a lot of
either
news.
the land changed because of subdivision approvals. Or they had
Right.
new structures that were partially built.
And they will get picked up when we do a,
And then the new value, when
Valuation.
they finish them
Right.
each year during the pickups. that
Which when
do on-
they
is
get to
when
the full-
New value.
comes
in.
in.
Yeah.
And that will be on the 1st of April
Mhm.
as well.
Yep.
Any of them, right. Okay. So we'll need to get together sometime once you get the MS1 for
Well-
signature.
Yes, I do need you to just meet, it might only be for half an hour or so, but I do need you to meet and vote so that we. have
Okay, so it is a
record of
meeting
you
with a vote.
approving it.
Right, it's not
And
just
then
come in and
sign.
sign. Okay,
Yeah,
Do you have that, the PA 16 as well?
yeah, we can wait until they sign the MS1, or when's that due?
This is
The
due
23rd?
on the 23rd.
Okay, so we should. Yeah. Bring that up.
Yes.
And the last year's numbers are right on the top there.
See, we got another meeting, Bob,
I'm trying, Bob, I'm telling you, I'm not doing this.
and it never fails.
You're not here, you can participate by post.
I know nothing.
Okay, we got a quick non-public, hopefully, right
So
now.
this is I called you on some stuff yesterday.
Mhm.
This is the backup for that.
Okay, is it still the same on there? Did you look?
Yes, it's the same as you.
Okay, I'll get that to you.
Okay.
So the PA 16 is the valuation of the
Right,
the National
Forest
Forest
Service there.
in town. So this is last year's and it's basically, we will fill in the value per acre when we get the MS1.
Okay,
And this, unfortunately, this is due by the 23rd.
so you need
by
us to sign this
Friday.
without
I
the
need you
number
to
filled in.
sign it without the number filled in, but we fill it in based on what's on the MS1.
Okay, right here?
Yeah.
Oops.
What am I saying?
A blank document.
So the valuation on the
So
forest.
what
land.
happens, Bob, is when we get the MS1, we fill in value per acre and the acreage that's on the MS1.
Okay.
I just don't know
Yeah.
exactly what that number is.
Um,
I'll need it for when we get the MS1.
And Mark, before I forget, could you do the resort, the courtesy of letting them know about our change in
Oh, yes,
plan we're
right,
going
the
to,
email.
yeah, about the gazebo. Okay, so if there is no other public business,
Mhm.
I'd like to have a motion to go into non-public session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.